welcome to episode 2 of season 7 of Just a Breezy Chat. Oh my, sorry, I'm laughing. I've done so many podcast episodes today that I'm just laughing at this point. Oh my gosh. But if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe, help a girl out. Um, Today we're going to be talking about finding a light when you hit rock bottom. Now, there's a song in particular I really want to touch on for a minute, and that is called Somebody I Used to Know, which you heard some of it at the beginning of this episode. It's one of my favorites. Now, growing up, I wasn't a big Zach Brown fan. My mom, on the other hand, like my bio mom, she loved Zach Brown Band, but I loved the song though from Zach Brown Band. Like, some of their songs that I really do like, and going back and listening, like, I could get listen to it now and actually understand and connect with them a lot more than anything. But I hit rock bottom years ago, and it was scary, and I needed to hit rock bottom, honestly, because it makes me grateful for hitting rock bottom and everything. And I found a way up. I started to refocus on myself and get the help I needed and everything else. But what is rock bottom? It's basically your lowest possible limit or level. Um, so you will probably want to what are some signs you're at rock bottom? There's physical illness, insurmountable financial problems, depression, homelessness, hygiene fails, loss of significant relationships, alienating your inner circle, being evicted from your home, feeling helpless, legal problems, incarceration, not feeling competent, outburst of aggression or violence, wild mood swings, withdrawals or responsibilities, and you experience domestic abuse. Um, why do we hit rock bottom? There's many reasons. It's not just one set cause why we hit rock bottom, but this could be the end of a relationship or a drug overdose, a job loss, a severe injury, a life-threatening diagnosis, and or overwhelming financial problem that can cause people to hit rock bottom. You are seeking out mental health to help with important things to do if you feel like there's nowhere else to turn. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how deep you are, there's always some sort of light. What about rebuilding? So we hit rock bottom. Now let's get into that rebuilding process, okay? It builds resilience. We can't deny our feelings, but we can try to shift our focus on the good things in our life. You can do this by identifying your strengths and weaknesses and drawing on them. When you face challenges, you can be compassionate with yourself. I'm the toughest critic of myself. I am not going to lie to you. I don't like to go back and watch my podcast episodes or any episode I've done because I'm thinking I could have done this a whole lot differently. Like, I'm so tough on myself that I have to remind myself that I have to be easier on myself and kinder to myself. But you have to believe in yourself, take responsibility, find ways to feel comfortable and at home again. Seek help. Consider creating a recovery plan or reaching out to a therapist or a support group. Take the proactive steps. If you're facing financial hardship, you might want to try creating a budget or negotiating with creditors, looking for work, or living frugally. Um, Here are some things to remember. Believe in yourself. No matter how bad things are, you should always be there for yourself. Believe, that's all. Be compassionate in yourself. You find things that bring you joy. Try doing things that make you happy, like lighting a candle, putting on a show, or eating snacks. Build resilience. Shift your focus on the good things in your life, like remembering and celebrating your talents and strengths. Create a recovery plan. You can also seek professional help. I know it sounds hard because most of us come from a generation where we're told seeking therapy isn't good. If we do it, it makes us look weird or where something's wrong with us. But I say therapy works, honestly. Why is it the best? Reflection and realization. At the bottom, you realize just how far off course you were, and that your life choices were simply just not sustainable. It's in those darkest moments of despair that you that your anger or frustration becomes so great you declare once and for all that you are never going to again accept mediocrity for yourself or from others. Then there's seeking dysfunctional behaviors. Um, then there's seeing your dysfunctional behaviors. At the bottom, all your dysfunctional behaviors are finally revealed. If you never hit your lowest point, the dysfunctions continue to go unnoticed and unchecked, playing out in your mind in the denial of inevitably recreating the biggest dysfunction of of a heart attack fall down of the track. Now to the bubble burst, you cleverly delude yourself into thinking yourself is just great. Now, but your life ends up being built on a big fat lie and false foundations. And eventually those foundations begin to crumble. Um you're gaining a fresh perspective. Hitting rock bottom can mean is the beginning of questioning everything you thought to be true. Your questions, your motives, other people's motives, your beliefs, your fears. Why you did things? So why you don't didn't do things? Why you are attracted to certain people and circumstances? Why you succeeded? Why you failed? The very fabric of your life is turned upside down and examined in raw details. It is also from this point that you build again from the ground up with fresh perspectives based on your renewed sense of clarity. Then there's self awareness and of bad habits and behaviors. At the bottom, you find yourself in disempowering and patterns and behaviors becoming glaringly obvious, and the triggers that can keep you from repeating those behaviors. And you're realizing that hitting rock bottom was not the only inevitable but necessary because those behaviors were simply not going to help your growth. And on top of that, and perhaps the most importantly, is that all the roles you've been playing pop into your conscious awareness, and it becomes clear that you've been kind of a puppet in your own life, playing the same role over and over again, creating the same dynamic over and over, keeping the drama over and over like a well-paid actor in a soap opera, really. Um, it's not until we start to mold and start the journey back to our true selves and that you start to play in it, and that you stop playing those old scratched records from the beginning to create a new conscious outcome. Trusting in life. This one can be hard, I get it, but you realize you at rock bottom that in fact that that what you thought you were going through, um, you let your ego run into grandiose ideas about how you could do it, not knowing you didn't have the ideas and foundation to successfully accomplish those things. Ego's death grip loosens when you come to the realization that you start to trust life and choose to live in the moment more often, and you surrender to higher self more in everything. Humility. You gain humility from all of this, and you see that life is not black and white and that you don't know everything. In fact, you realize that you know very little, and you decide to become a student of life rather than a juror. Um, compassion. You start to gain compassion and understand that what it's like for people and the depths of despair, shame, guilt, and fear. You can't help but come back from rock bottom feeling immense empathy for the human condition. Letting go. You're unable to let go of everything because nothing else works. Nothing works anymore. Letting go of the old creates space for the new and soon new ideas. Um, as you empty as you empty in a cup, so to speak, it fills back you fill you fill it back with stuff like you actually want instead of accepting what you unconsciously passed on to you. Life hands you a fresh cup of reality. You take responsibility. After you've hit the bricks, You begin to accept full responsibility for any outcome in your life. You see that blaming others is futile, and that complaining is dumb, and making mistakes is for the unenlightened. You realize that it was you who created all those good and all the bad in your life. You dug the hole in which you're being trapped in. The only the only way up, the only way is up. The good news is, once you hit rock bottom, you know you can't possibly go any lower. You realize that the bottom is actually a great springboard from which you push yourself up in the surface. And from the darkest, you get back into the light. Sorry, that song's stuck in my head now. It's called Mad by Cassie Still. Really good song. I do recommend going to listen to it. Then you start to trust yourself. Hitting rock bottom wakes you up and you're relying on externals to make you happy. Instead of needing outside validation, you begin to trust yourself and start a journey within to find your own sense of self, your own sense of purpose, and your own validation. This new inner sanctuary becomes the foundation of for your life and meaningful in life. You finally in gratitude. And at your lowest, you start to experience gratitude. You become grateful for all the things you have from this point forward, and you're sure that the situation can only get better from here. And it does. And simple things like a smile from a stranger, fresh food in the fridge, warm clothes on your body, a comfy bed, your good health become things to treasure. Your existence is a constant prayer of the universe and to the others for having the courage to move beyond in everything. As always, I want to end this episode on a quote and this is from the very person who is one of my favorite authors from one of my favorite series of all time, in from the movies as well, you know. And it is rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. Can we guess who said it? Can we guess it? J.K. Rowling. But that is it for this episode. I will see y'all next time as we talk about why being a nice girl sucks. All my nice girls get it. You know what I'm talking about. But I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day.